And and Jackie, this is I found this an interesting story because obviously I'll show you what it says. Sunak refuses to follow Biden's lead in sending cluster bombs. Prime Minister pledges more aid after Washington decides to supply banned munitions to Zelensky as ammunition runs low. I couldn't help thinking Rishi Sunak's not going to follow Biden's lead on cluster bombs. Would Keir Starmer? And what does that say about Labour and the Tories?
Well, I mean, this story, I mean, it's got so much you could say about it. First of all, let's be clear what these cluster bombs are. They're banned by over 100 countries. Most of NATO actually banned them. And what they do is that they open mid-air and then they splay bombs, little bombs, across an area of several times a football field. And the thing I don't get on this, a number of things, right? Zelensky, what he's talking about is bombing his own country that would actually leave live bombs there and would take God knows how long to clear. So there's that bit. I mean, there's the tomfoolery of an American administration, which somehow puts itself up to be the ethical sort of leader of the free world, and then would actually not just use these cluster bombs, but allow somebody like Zelensky in that situation to use cluster bombs. Now, what would have happened if that had been Russia saying we're going to use cluster bombs? And of course, these things are just a nightmare. Now, Sunak, I mean, amazingly, has refused to support the sending in of the supplying of cluster bombs. And Biden, though, said in this, and I can't quite work it out, that they're sending the cluster bombs not just because Zelensky is running out of arms, but because the US is running out of arms as well. Like, we can't send them anything else but this. And actually, what you then realize is what an economy this whole armaments stuff is. What I also want to do as well, though, and this is a challenge to many people who I have seen and think of as comrades, who actually supported the arming of Zelensky. And when we warned, where will this stop? They said, no, it's all right. It's just for defensive purposes. And if you remember, a number of us were saying, you're not going to be able to stop where those armaments are going to go or what they are. And I think those comrades really now need to have another think about what their support means. And as for Starmer, well, it's like a convenient silence, isn't it? It's a bit like not being available for the Durham Miners Gala. I mean, it's typical of him, and it's everything we would expect from him.